Shalom Akyam. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles, a great millstone, who teach and rule well. And Shalom to the sincere Akyam, spreading this truth in sincerity. Shalom. In this video, I want to, speak on Job chapter 33 and verse 14 again. In the past I've made some videos about it as well, but as long as informative information, is being brought forth, I'm gonna make videos that are very similar. So this is Job chapter 33 verse 14. For the Most High speaketh once, yet twice, yet man perceiveth it not. So like I often tell or explain in videos, is that the Heavenly Father, He can speak through us, through our surroundings. He is able to, send forth messages, or He's able to basically give us hints and advice through repetition that is constantly, being shoved, in our face, in our ears. And someone with a spiritual mind, he is able to look at that situation or look at, these recurring themes or these recurring messages, and he's gonna reconsider and sit down like, is there a message, in, this for me? Or is it quote unquote, coincidence, which there's no such thing as coincidence. For those that believe that there is a higher power, whose true name is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. You see, there are multiple things that I can, speak on right now. Which the first thing that I actually want to speak on is a decision that, and it's not even a very deep thing, or it does not have any real weight or value to the situation. It doesn't hold any value or weight. So the decision being made basically is just a waste of money by the decision of the brother. But it has to do with doing some tests. A theoretical test, which the brother was able to do, either without a translator in the Dutch or with a translator, in which the test is in the Dutch, but the translator is going to translate it to him, in the English language. Which this particular brother, his native tongue is actually English, so it will really benefit him to, pick the translator and go from there. Multiple brothers have given this advice: pick the translator. Then you're basically done with the situation, and you can move on and continue doing what basically it is that you want to do. And the decision of the brother, was that he's gonna stick with the regular exam, and the reason for that is because the regular exam is like 40-50 euros, and every time that you retake it, it's 40 or 50 euros. You see, and the one with the translator is between 400 and 500 euros, because now you have to basically apply for a adjusted exam, which that includes people sitting with you in a separate room. A translator has to be hired. Someone has to basically take the exam and has to basically examine you during that exam. And this has been brought to the brother his attention multiple times, that it would be better for him to use and pick a translator, but he himself decided not to do it. So the point where it says that the Most High speaketh once, yet twice, yet man perceiveth it not, is the moment where multiple brothers give the same advice, say the same thing on multiple occasions. And, when these brothers then do come together, they all, agree upon the same thing, that we have all said the same thing, but it is up to the brother, and the choices that he makes, and the result and the effect that his choice has for himself. You see? Because to be honest, I quite understand the brother as well, because, in the case that he would pick a translator and he decides to pay 400 to 500 euros and he fails the exam, for that money he would have had 10 regular retries that he could have done. You see? And that is actually, the thing that the brother is considering in his mind. But the point is, the odds of him, basically passing the exam with the translator are higher compared to the Dutch, because of, misunderstanding or mistranslating within his own mind. Instead of when you would have a translator, he would be able to instantly, tell you, like, this is what it means. And they'd be like, okay, straight to the point. This is what's being asked. And the answer is this. And boom. Okay. Then another brother in the camp, he spoke on this himself yesterday as well. And it had to do with the motorcycle, in which he wanted to grab the motorcycle, but then, it fell over, the mirrors broke, and not a bolt, but, the other thing that you basically screw on a bolt, that's something that he found, on the place where his bike was, or where his bike fell down, and that was the Most High basically, telling him, like, don't use the bike. But this one was obvious. This one was a straight nope, because in Holland you are not allowed to drive without the mirrors. Coming then to find out later that he found that piece of material, coming to find out that belongs to the chain. That's where the chain is basically hold tight, and where the rear wheel is basically, together with the chain, which that could have ended, catastrophically, man. That's something that could have cost the brother his life if he would have, went with that thing on the highway. So what did the Most High do? The Most High prevented him from using the bike at all, man. But it is a spiritual mind, that considers this, man. And before he even found out about it, he told me about it, and I was like, yeah, man, but right now you're also, a little bit frustrated, so it might not be a good thing for you to step on that bike, because it's not a good thing, to be in an emotional state and ride a bike, because it is going to influence the way that you're driving. Coming to find out later that the bolt was gone, man, or that not the bolt, but the nuts and bolts. Nuts. I think the nut. Yeah, I think the nut. It's a nut. He found a nut. And that's what made him realize, like, man, the Most High, basically saved my life. And then, I want to, consider something pertaining to myself, because in an earlier video this week, I spoke on how I was basically forced to go to the side of the road with the motorcycle of my father, because of, the oil missing. Coming to find out that yesterday happened the same thing while I was riding on the highway again. I had to pull up to the side, the whole night, in a whole rat race, having to constantly think, get the motor oil, try it again, come across someone that I know happened to be at the gas station, wanting to help me, with his motorcycle. I said, hey, the only thing that you can do for me right now, is basically, be there and ride behind me and basically, help me make it home safe. Then halfway again, failed, decided, you know what, you continue to go on. I park at the brother's house and asked the brother to bring me home. That's what happened, man. But this happened twice. So now I think about it, Like, man, what is the Most High trying to tell me with this situation, though? What is the Most High trying to tell me and make me realize about the situation where it happened twice, in 1 week with this motorcycle? And the first things and foremost is like, my own father didn't use the motorcycle as much as I have used it in 1 week. So that thing needs to be checked up. Some things needs to be checked up, looked at, changed, and done to it, because the bike right now, as it is not safe. So with that in mind, the Most High yet again is putting in a protection, because He kept me safe in both those instances. I was on the most left lane last night, and I had to move all the way to the side. All the way to the side, man. Having to move up 4 lanes. 4 lanes, that's insane. Cars behind me honking, boom, boom, boom. I'd be like, man, if only y'all knew. If only y'all knew what was going on right now. Then yet again, the towing truck, or basically the one that is in combination with that. He comes with the pickup truck, and he calls the towing truck, but he was there instantly. He was there quick, with the quickness thereof again, man. And then I meet the guy that I knew, that I know, man. And the fun thing is, I told him, hey, add me on Instagram. He adds me on Instagram, but I don't know who he is. He didn't say who he was when he texted me. So I got a little bit, shook up, like, man, who is this? Why does he want my number? Why does he want to get in contact? Then I meet him yesterday. I said, hey, man, I'm sorry, man. I didn't know it was you. I didn't know it was you. So the Most High, he does things in a certain way that is, that might look crazy to the people of the world, but now it, when you look at it, it makes sense, man. It makes sense. But it's only for us with a spiritual mind to look at the situation like, why is the Most High doing these things? And we need to find, the answers through it by sitting down and meditating about, what is going on, or what the lesson is that the Most High is trying to tell us. And that is very hard at times, man. That is very hard at times. You see? Because the first thing that I said to the brother when he was like, man, my motorcycle fell and I shouldn't ride it. And the reason I said it is because that bike is a super sport. It's the race bike. The one that if you have some space on the highway, you pull open the gas, man, and you're gone. And if he is in a state of mind where he is, not himself, basically, that can end catastrophically, man. So then add that in combination with the fact that the nut was gone from the bike that is supposed to hold the chain and the rear wheel in place. That is like a disaster, waiting to happen if the Most High would not have intervened, man. And concerning my situation, my father told me as well, man, before there's going to be ridden on the bike, it first has to be checked out. It first has to be checked out. So that situation also made me consider, or actually both the situations of the brother and my father made me reconsider, whether I myself should buy a, second-hand bike from, just basically homeowners. Dutch is like particulier, which is just a person that is selling his bike from his home. That is selling his own bike from his home. But you don't know the history or, what has happened in the past and how good it is, maintained and things like that. The only thing that he wants to do is he wants to sell it, man. So what I did is I canceled the things of me trying to come and look at some bikes. I was like, no, I ain't for me, man. I'm gonna do it through a company that I know I'm gonna have 3 months warranty. That I know, like, hey, they did some checkup on it. Why? Because I don't want to have a similar situation like that happening again. Because you're not gonna be comfortable riding if you know that something is gonna happen with your bike. Especially since you are already very fragile when you're on the highway like that. No protection, and the only protection that you have is basically you and the clothing that you wear. That's the only protection that you have. between you and every other, incoming projectile, or, any incoming force that is trying to, harm you in any way, shape, or form. So that's why it says in Job chapter 33 verse 14, for the Most High speaketh once, yet twice, yet man perceiveth it not. So there might be things going on in your life with a recurring message or recurring thing going on, or you hear some things left and right that seem oddly familiar. Like, hey, I've heard it before. Hey, someone told me this as well. Hey, he told me this as well, just like you. Okay. But then it is within the individual himself, whether he is, going to do anything with that situation. Is he going to let it slide? Like, no, it's nothing. I'm going to do it anyway. Something that I noticed myself is any time that I'm about to make a decision and, within the spirit, it feels like, something is off. The Most High, he shows me 144, like, calm down, this is not it. Calm down, this is not it. Don't do it, this is not it. You know what I mean? Because if I do, more often than not, I fuck up. It doesn't turn out the way that I wanted it to turn out. So those are some things, that over time I've learned to, basically be a receiver for, to the best of my ability and to the best of, the will, or, to the extent that the Most I will allow me, to pick upon those signals. Because you have to be able to, pick up on those signals, receive it, and then you have to either listen to it or you don't. With the set effects or result, that come from your decision, man. So yeah, with that, I do hope and pray that this video was edifying. And with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And shalom to the sincere Akim, spreading this truth and sincerity. Shalom.